podcast at the lab. This is Bryson.
And I'm Scott.
So we're going to be talking about fathers today.
Yep.
Because Father's Day is coming up
This Sunday.
So I got a little dad joke for you, Dad.
Okay. All right. I'm ready.
Do you happen to need an ark with 2 of every animal in it?
No.
No?
No, not right now.
Oh, well, if you ever do, I know a guy.
That's so... Oh, wait, have you got any others?
Yeah, well, I have another one.
Okay.
Why does Peter Pan always fly?
Why?
Because he never lands.
Okay, where's the button? Get to push the button.
Wow.
Okay, we come from a long line of people that really like to laugh. Just a lot of humor. I remember growing up, my dad, granddad, he would come home. We farmed, and then Dad, for a while, he taught school, and he worked for a manufacturing company for a while. And so he would come home with these jokes, and we would be sitting at the dinner table, and he would try to tell the joke. He'd laugh so hard. So by the time he got to the punchline, he couldn't even say the punchline. And so we really never ever got the jokes. But I mean, he enjoyed them. But I guess that's kind of where I got this. Okay. Because I do it. Sometimes I get to laugh and I'll just sit and laugh at stuff. But you guys do that too. You'll sit and laugh at memes and different.
Yeah, I'll just be sitting in my room and just be laughing. You guys will be like, what are you laughing at? I'm just like, I just thought of something.
That's true. Okay, so tell me, so growing up, what do you remember? What are some good dad things that I used to tell you guys?
Well, Michaela was talking about one of them, which was whenever we'd get hurt or something, just put ice on it. That one's pretty funny.
That was always my reaction. Say, I just put ice on it. You guys will be fine. So, and I think for the most part it worked.
Yeah. I mean, I'm alive. We're all alive. So,
well, there you go. Yeah. You guys all worked out. So you guys, do you remember anything about trips when we'd go on trips? Were the things that I
hit the trail. Make like a cow patty. That was another one.
Make like a cow patty and hit the trail.
Hit the trail.
Okay. All right. So we're talking about fathers and the influence of fathers and how important that really is. And so that's what I was thinking about. Okay. So the Hebrew, actually for the name father, it's 2 letters. It's just 2 letters. Okay. So it's the 2 letters. And what it actually means is strong tent. I don't know. So the idea of strong tent means like a strong house, like it would be the stability that people need. Yeah. So, and what I'm always grateful for is like, I really come from, it's like my dad, grandfather have always been really strong influences on us. And really your mom's had the same thing. You had Papa and then Poppy. We talked about Poppy the other day. I don't know whether you remember us talking about Poppy. Poppy was quite a character. It would be her great grandfather. Did we tell you about him?
No.
Yeah, he was part of the sit-down strikes. You know anything about the sit-down strikes? The old General Motors, they would do the strikes, and I guess they were kind of violent. But Poppy was a little guy, but man, he was a fireball. So anyway, but they were the idea. What
if he raised Nani?
That's true.
He'd have to be a little bit of a fireball.
That's true. So that's what we're looking at is the idea of just men, and what men do is they really bring a stability. And I know that sounds sexist right now. It's like people get upset by that, but that really is true that they do that. So one of the things I notice about in the church and growing up in the church, and especially because we've pastored for so long and we continue to pastor. And so on Mother's Day, it's always easy to deal with Mother's Day. And of course the moms on Mother's Day, everybody comes to church. They all come and they support their moms. On Father's Day, you know what they do?
What?
They don't come to church. Well, we did. I mean, we always come. But a lot of them, they wouldn't do that because what they would do is they'd been doing cookouts. They've been doing barbecues. They do things like that. So I think one year we tried to bribe dads to come by giving away a TV set.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, the raffle thing?
Yeah, we did the raffle and we tried to bribe them. I think we got a few more people, on that day. But for the most part, we really don't.
And never came again.
But it's interesting because of the fact that it's like for moms, I guess we always think of moms as more spiritual than dads.
Yeah.
And so we want to come and we want to honor moms. And then I guess our way of honoring dad is I don't know, a barbecue.
Yeah. You could always barbecue after church.
Yeah. You can do that. But I do notice that. And I will notice it. Here's the other thing I always notice. That's like whenever we do have barbecues, do you know where the men always congregate?
The grill.
Around the grill.
No, just judging each other. Oh, you shouldn't have done that.
There's a fire. We're grilling meat. It's like, yeah, they're always, yeah, it's like, here they are. They automatically all gather around it. And it's funny because all the men are like, whether they really can grill or not, they all think they can.
Yeah.
Most of them think they can.
I remember it was a year and I was actually on the grill, and I don't remember what it was for. It's for Easter. I don't know. I remember something. And me and Dylan were the ones who were grilling.
Yeah, you guys did it.
Yeah, we were I was probably young high school, maybe middle school. So many guys walked up to us and were making sure that we were doing the right thing.
Did any moms?
No, not one mom.
So there was something about the grill. It's
like, they're like, oh, what? I can't remember exactly, but it taught me how to grill. So
yeah,
they gave me a lot of pointers.
Well, that's pretty good. That works really well.
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple of things about dads. It was something I had read recently, so I wanted to make sure I get this right, that there's a demographic that only 32% of America's population are single men, but they make up over 70% of the opioid deaths.
Wow.
The thing that you see from that is there's something about one, single men, and then men that are raised without another man in the home or influencing. So I don't want to just say in the home, but even influencing.
Yeah.
When there's not a male role model that's influencing, it's like we begin to drift, and so you see that a lot. And so I know that for some people they're going to get upset by that, but it's really true. Mm-hmm. Is that there's a tendency for when men are involved that it creates structure. It creates like this. I don't want to put it. Well, it's like what I told you about. It's like the idea of in Hebrew, it's a father is a strong tent. So it's like it kind of gives the stability to the home. Mm-hmm. And so when you don't have that, then you have people that just go and and especially men, they don't know how to really control themselves. So Bryson, we're talking about influence and the power of influence, and really, I mean, you growing up in church, and of course, obviously there's I'm the pastor, and so you had the influence of me. But tell me about a couple other people, maybe one or two other people that guys that really were strong influencers for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think one obviously would probably be Dan Cathcart, because me and Dylan essentially grew up together, and so just. Seeing that, and not only seeing like you, but also seeing the relationship that you and Dan have together, and then how that's kind of also. It's funny because I feel like me and Dylan have that same relationship where it's like you two would do anything for each other,
right? Absolutely.
And seeing that from like you guys being older men, that's we in some way tried to replicate that, and so me and Dylan, I mean, we're as tight as can be. And so I think that's been really cool to see you guys, and then also how that's reflected on us as well. So
Dan's been a good influence, I think, even for me. As like Dan's younger than I am, but just as far as you're looking at the influence that he had, and really his older brother Billy. But both of those guys, they just, to me, just really exemplify what loyalty is, faithfulness. It's like they were there for you. And there's other people in the church that are like that, but these are a couple of guys that really stand out. Anybody else? You really got influenced by a lot of different people.
Yeah, I mean, the list can go on. I mean, just the different people who have taught me things, like we were talking about, like how to grill and things like that, but also have taught me some even deeper things. I mean, Justin Evola is another example of a guy who's gone through so much, and I've not in any way gone through the things that he's gone through, but him just showing time and time again that you can make it out of your current situation you're in has been really helpful for me as well. Just seeing him and seeing how God works through him has been really cool to see, and it's definitely influenced my life.
He's really good because he's one of those that he didn't really grow up with a strong male role model, and so he kind of floundered for a while. And of course, you could watch his video, but he was one of those that really has come out of that and has stepped into a role. And seen himself as an influencer, and the power of that is that as you see yourself as an influencer, as you see yourself as somebody that's like a role model, it really changes the way not only you see the world, but really changes the way you and I act. It's like when I see myself as a role model, I will act differently than I would have otherwise. And I see that from you, just even with as the younger kids. Obviously, they look up to you, not just because of your height, but for they look up to you. And I see the way Justin does the same thing. You guys really, I think, look out for them and influence them. And so I in a way, you like emulate, I guess, what you've seen from the other older men in the church, and you say, okay, I want to be able to give that same thing away. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like I was telling you about a yoke, and the yoke is what they used to put on two like oxen when they would pull a cart or whatever. They would put this great big wooden thing over them, and they always had an older, usually a male. And then they had a younger male. And the purpose for the older male was really to teach the younger. And so that's really what you guys have seen is like, as this yoke, the yoke of leadership, the yoke of influence has been put on you, or you've grown up with. You've watched as the older ones have done these things and acted a certain way. You say, okay, I want to be able to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So anything else, any other guys that you can think of that right offhand?
I mean, there's a ton of guys that have been pretty cool to talk to and have I've looked up to in our church. I mean, I could name a whole bunch, but no one in specific.
Well, and I'm real impressed with right now you're going to Biola and the influence of your college president, and then even some of your professors. You've got some really good guys.
Yeah. I mean, it's really cool to see. Even in like my marketing class, there's a professor who really there's some really good professors at Biola, but he in particular I think stands out just because he doesn't act like a professor. He acts like pretty much he's one of your friends and a mentor type thing. So that's been also really helpful. Just a strong man in the Christian faith, in the business world, showing us that even, I mean, I'm interested in pursuing business, obviously. And so seeing that even in the business world where it seems kind of corrupt and things like that, you can still keep your faith and really be kind of a light for God in not a great situation.
And I like that. Because Biola has that, but it's these guys that are saying, okay, I know how to go into the business world, and you think the business world, it's a cutthroat thing, and it's really not.
It doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be at all. In fact, the Bible's pretty clear that you get blessed when you're a blessing to other people. So that's what we've got for you today. Dads, thank you so much for what you've done, the influence that you've been, the influence that Granddad's been on me, and he's been really on you guys, and there's so many other grandkids that have been influenced because of him. He's been a Sunday school teacher for a long time, so Dad, thank you. The other guys, like in our church, we're talking about the guys at Biola that have been influencers, and you too. It's like you can be an influencer, no matter what your situation or what you're in. You can right now be an influencer for Christ, and there's somebody that's looking up to you. So, any other dad jokes you want to end with? You got?
I don't have any more.
No dad joke to end with? Okay.
I wasn't prepared.
Oh, man. I'm sure after we get off, you're going to remember all these different things that I've said. And so anyway, that's all we got for you guys. Have a great Father's Day. Hope you have a good time. God bless you. And we'll see you next time. Podcast at the Lab.